Hi, everybody. It's Joe Chaffee here on this Sunday night, coming up on 10 minutes of 9. Not doing the live stream the way I usually do it, which is where you could see me in the boxes with all the maps. Don't have that with me at the moment. So I'm going to have to do it off the computer screen, but I felt that it was the time to do a little bit of updating here with what's been happening. Here's the satellite loop, and we've got Alberto actually continuing to transition into a more of a tropical storm rather than a subtropical storm. If you look near the center of circulation, you're starting to see that core that is typical of tropical systems, attempting to gain a bit more symmetry to it, rather than having this sort of large sprawling circulation. The other thing is that between the satellite loops and the Air Force reconnaissance aircraft reports from this evening show that maximum sustained winds have now increased to 65 miles an hour. And it's not inconceivable that this thing could wind up becoming a hurricane, a minimal hurricane, before landfall, because it's going to be another 24 hours, I'm sorry, another 18 hours before we see the center move on land. Probably not until tomorrow afternoon, and I'm thinking it's going to be right along the northwest coast of Florida here, Pensacola on westward. Somewhere in there, I think, is where we're going to wind up seeing the landfall. If we take a look at the radar, this is the regional radar, it's the Southern Mississippi Valley radar, and there is rain that has moved up into northwest Florida, some of those outer bands, but you can also see out in the open waters there of the Gulf of Mexico that arcing area of echoes. That is close to where the circulation center is. So you're starting to see convection beginning to develop and wrap around the center. The lowest pressure here, by the way, measured was 991 millibars, and that is down from earlier today. So it seems to be making a slow move toward strengthening. And we'll take a look. I'm going to take a look at a couple of the models from late this afternoon. We'll start with the Namm model. And if you look at that radar signature here on the Namm, it does really kind of develop more of a central core. This is at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. The actual center is still offshore. Doesn't really strengthen it too much here. The pressures are in the 992, 993, 94 range as it makes landfall somewhere around between, say, 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. on the northwest coast of Florida, not too far from Pensacola. If you want to know where the low center is on the Namm, it's at 30.2 north and 85.78 west. That's where I put the cursor over there so you can actually see where the L is being printed on. So if you plot that on the map, that's about where you can see what towns it's close to. The HRRR model, which seems to be doing pretty well with this, and we have let me go back one run, so we have the full run here, and it too, it's got that core. You see the northern band of rain and thunderstorms in South and North Carolina is kind of separating away from the core circulation, and by the time we get to, this is noon tomorrow, we have a 989 pressure. So this is certainly going to be, at the very least, a strong tropical storm before it makes landfall. All of this, by the way, responding as we look at the upper features here, to bring up the Namm upper air. And there's that cutoff low that we've been, talking about for the last several days. Just trapped in between that ridge, and then up it goes, just kind of really very, very slowly. And the tropical storm is basically going to be virtually under that upper low. So it's going to be a slow move northward. That's going to mean for heavy rains in inland areas tomorrow and on Tuesday, and probably continuing into Wednesday, as that upper low eventually gets absorbed by the next trough that's swinging out of the northern plain. So at least from that standpoint, everything is playing out according to plan. Just real quick, as far as the weather is concerned for my area, for Monday, Memorial Day, let me We'll bring it up. So the rain is, a couple of showers pop up tomorrow morning, but they don't really amount to too much. And then it looks like we'll probably see weather conditions somewhat improve as we go through the day. And then high pressure builds down from eastern Canada to off the New England coast for Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday, I think, could be a pretty warm day. And then Wednesday, the flow becomes onshore again, and that'll probably mean for lower temperatures. But I'm thinking that for the most part, it will be dry. And I think for Memorial Day, most of the day will be on the dry side. So just to review, we have the hot maximum sustained winds now 65 miles an hour as it continues to move on a north-northwest course, probably making landfall tomorrow afternoon in northwest Florida between 1 and 4 p.m. Outside chance, maybe a little bit more than an outside chance. It could strengthen a little bit more, maybe get close to hurricane strength. It's kind of hard. Strengthening, that's the one thing the Hurricane Center forecasters will always tell you and have told us many times over the years. They've gotten better with the tracks. I don't think there's any doubt of that. But the strengthening part of the equation is very, very difficult, and it is problematic. By the way, I just want to show you, I'm working at WPIX TV in New York, and this is our studio. Our newscast comes up at 10 o'clock, so if you've never seen a TV station set before, but this is our set here at WPIX in New York. It's a pretty big area. We do several shows, all come out, newscasts all come out of this studio. And that picture behind right there that you see, that is a live picture of the corner of our building, which is 42nd and 2nd. It's a little hazy looking, but that's just the quality of the shot. But you can see the folks walking across the street. That is definitely a live view here that you're looking at. And the traffic light just changed, and the cars are going back and forth. But if you haven't been to New York City, that's what 42nd Street and 2nd Avenue look like. And we'll be doing our newscast here at 10 o'clock. So I will be here for another couple of hours before I get to go home. And by the way, here is the green screen, the famous green screen where I do my weather. And this is the camera that I'm on, camera number 4. So it's all pretty, in some ways it always seems to be bigger than what it is. And here's my producer, Rob Jeniak, who, yes, yes, Robbie.
Love you all.
Yes. He's very difficult, though. He behaves very badly. All right, folks, so let's leave it at that. I've got some website post updates, so you can check those out at meteorologistjoechaffee.com. And depending on one thing or another, if there's some important breaking information tonight at 11 o'clock, maybe when I get home at midnight, I'll do another quick live stream. Otherwise, it's going to have to wait for tomorrow, and it's tomorrow morning, and we'll update you on the latest on Alberto, which, by the way, if it becomes a hurricane, it will only be the 5th hurricane in the Atlantic Basin in the month of May since 1851, and I believe only the 2nd in the Gulf of Mexico, and you have to go back 1862, if I remember correctly, 1862 for the last time that happened. So, storms like this at this time of year are very, very rare indeed. So, keep it tuned here to get all the latest weather information on Alberto. And if you're in the eastern Pennsylvania to southern New England area, including Philadelphia and New York City, looks like a better day coming up tomorrow. Not picture perfect. We'll probably still be fighting off some clouds, but we could see some improvement through the morning and into Monday afternoon. We will see you folks later.